Today is Tuning for Dummies with Joe's 1000 horsepower X3M. I'm gonna walk you guys through the whole breakdown of how I use MHD's live tuning suite to tune this car from pretty much start to finish. This is gonna be the dummies version. So it's not gonna be the most in-depth for every little function of the ECU, but it's gonna be the basics of how I do fueling, timing, cam timing, and boost, which goes to the moon. You guys can see a live screen of my laptop and nothing is hidden at all. Take what you want from this, steal what you want from this, learn as much as possible. So boost, we're leaving at 30 pounds to start. I already tuned this car to 50 pounds. We're gonna go to 55 in this video. You guys with me for the first time ever on this car, so it makes 1000 horsepower. But we're starting at 30 pounds, and there's a bunch of different things important in tuning. This is my timing table for this car. I'm softer than most people. This car at max boost runs 13.5 degrees. A lot of people run 18 to 20, 16, and then they blow up. This car already with this car has gone through one engine, and it blew up when I didn't want to push harder on stock motor. Went someone else, it went to the block. Here we are back again. So just to show you guys how this works with no changes to my current tune, right? So we have a baseline. We can also show you guys a little bit of data log understanding in a minute, but just tuning wise. Right, it makes 710 wheel horsepower, 30 pounds boost, 679 wheel torque. While the car's slowing down, I lost one of my lights. Normally going in one of these cars, like, okay, I'm at 210 load and I'm dropping to 180, right? For your example, we're gonna take this whole table and pull 3 degrees of timing out, right? This is ignition timing. We're starting here. I know the fueling's good. I'll show you the fueling target though. I guess this car runs about 12 air fuel in this range. At higher horsepower, go to 11s air fuel wise. Most people will say it's too rich for direct injection motors, but fueling wise, on high boost has to about 25 pounds boost on 85. 85% of my fueling on high RPM is port injection only. This car from the factory has port injection and direct injection. We're gonna start off by saying if you're direct injection only, you run a hair leaner, low 12s. If you're port injection and direct injection on this engine or any BMW engine, you have to run the car very rich. There will be people that dispute me, and none of them have records like 7-second G80s and stuff like that. Anyone that runs these cars lean with port and direct injection is asking for a failure. With that note, I run 85% of my fueling on port injection over about this power level. My fuel target is 11.8 air fuel at about 800 horsepower on. Above that, it's about 12s, right? And I stopped the scaling of my tables at about 800 wheel horsepower for fueling target because I'm targeting the same thing. My G80 runs about 11.5 air fuel, 11.3 air fuel at about 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, and I go a hair richer past that. So the fueling, that's what I run. In terms of how to adjust the fueling, it's a whole nother discussion. Ignition timing wise though, we're gonna take the base timing table I just ran, right? We're gonna pull 3 degrees timing out. I'm gonna copy and paste it, and I'm gonna show you guys why MHD is king. I can adjust these tables in real time. As I rev this car, it shows you where you are on the table. Showing you where you are is not that important if you have a matching data log, but for your guys' sake and me showing you how to tune is amazing. If you're on the street and you're trying to do this, you can't see ignition timing versus horsepower or cam timing, which I'll show you with crazier concept, but I'm on a dyno, so I'm gonna show you guys pulling 3 degrees timing out should lose power before I even do a dyno pull. Something to notice to make sure your data log's doing what you want. If you try adding 2 degrees and the data log shows the same base timing and nothing else going on, you could have other issues going on in your tuning, but mine's sorted, so everything I tell it do, it does. Right? Spicy with the port injection. Up top, I lost about 30 horsepower, which is about what you want for 3 degrees. And now just for reference, this might sound a little sketchy, but we're at low boost. We're gonna add the 3 degrees back into the table, and we're gonna add 2 more. Someone watching this might say, dumbass, just add 5. Good man, I should just added 5, but it's okay, because then we're gonna paste it here, right? And just for reference, it's about 5. I should be pasting and hitting upload. I don't know why I don't, but whatever. Upload. And this is live, guys. This is a brand new car with live tuning. Is crazy. If you're like a DIY guy, this will let you advance so much more quickly because you can just try things. Normally, each flash takes about 10-15 minutes, and you'd say, MHD says it takes 30 seconds. It does, but emailing from my laptop to my phone, flashing, etc. I need to let the car warm up every single hit normally. I really don't have to. It's 95 degrees in this room, and you still, every time you flash, would normally have to let it warm up. I get just 2 hits. This is plus 2 degrees. I'm not scared because I'm a soft tuner. I make 1,000 horsepower being soft, but I make sure the setup's good. It'd probably make like 5, 8 wheels right. I'm so good. It made 714 wheel horsepower. It made 5 wheel horsepower, 10 wheel torque. A lot of people would say, keep going. Keep going till it stops making power. The way ignition timing works is, there's gonna be really good tuners watching and say, Jordan, you're fucking plus 3 degrees, you're a little too much timing. We'll get there. Every degree of timing should be worth a substantial amount of power. If you pull 1 degree, you lose 10, pull another degree, lose 10, pull another degree, lose 10, it's normal. Add a degree, so we're gonna put the ignition timing back to the original starting point, okay, on how well I explained that. But the reality is, when you add timing a degree or two at a time, right, you're gonna get to a point on good gas, it's 85, right? So it doesn't pull timing. I'm not because I have it turned down, because I don't, but just because it's good gas and I'm not way over. When you add a degree of timing, you gain 10 horsepower. Add 2 degrees timing, you gain 20 horsepower. When you gain only 5 horsepower, and then you gain 3 horsepower, then you gain 0 horsepower, it's actually not that you're closer to what's called max brake torque. What it typically means is that when you gain 10 horsepower per degree, let's say, you do it again, you only gain 5. What that actually means is that half the cylinders lost power and half gain. Then you do it again, and you'll actually potentially have 1 or 2 cylinders gain. Let's say 2 cylinders gain and 4 cylinders lose. Do it again, you'll have all cylinders at an even point. So what happens is that's actually a huge negative. You should add timing until you have diminishing gains. So you losing or you stop gaining as much. Here, the reality is I probably should leave it at between the 684 and the 710 probably, and not exactly this. And I will make a note of it on my phone where I make all my notes. I usually transfer my computer after, and I have great notes for people, but because I'm screen recording, I'm not gonna do it right here. And it'll be review that data log. I already did this at 40 pounds boost and 50 pounds of boost. And then the 30 pounds boost, I'll adjust in theory, and I will interpolate between those two and leave it. For right now, it's not too much timing to the point where it's losing power, it's gaining nothing, it's gonna blow up by leaving like this. This is a problem with tuners. You remote tune the car on the street, and your tuner adds more and more and more timing until I don't know where the hell they stop. So you have stock G80M3s running 20 degrees timing, 18 degrees timing. I find 15-ish degrees the maximum safe point. You might have another tuner that makes 20 horsepower more than me at the expense of your engine at some point. That's a basic breakdown of ignition timing and how I do it. There's also compensations, which I'll show and share with you guys. If you see right here, right, the axis in this is intake air temp on the left-hand side, and the top right here is coolant temperature, right? So this actually means that in this coolant temperature range, the car is gonna start pulling power. I'm pretty sure, don't call me dumb, but I'm pretty sure it's like a multiplication on this versus something like this, and at a 1, it will pull that amount. I'm not 1000% sure. I leave the factory super soft with this, so I'll typically make it 0 where I don't want it to pull any power out or ignition timing, and I go right to stock values within about 10 degrees coolant temp wise and about 10 degrees air temp wise. I'm okay with it if it gets too hot pulling out a bunch of power. Right now it's gonna pull a hair, but it's 92 degrees in dyno room. The air temp of the last dyno pull was 120 degrees. So timing wise, that's how I do it. What I'll typically do is, like, let's just say, it's a bad example. Let's just say this row is 20 degrees of boost, right? It's pretty close. I'll actually go to this row, which I'll show on the screen, and I will do this at a lower power level, and then I'll guesstimate all the way up. So I'll do the math like 20 pounds boost, and there used to be things online that say 1 pound is 1 degree. It's not possible, because if that was the case, I'd be running like 0 degrees. I actually go from 20 to about 50. I'll pull out about 8 degrees of timing, let's just say 7 degrees of timing. That's just my math. It's a curve thing. It's not a straight line. I'm happy there. I tested at 40. I will go to 50. I never will add more based on my guesstimate. I'll always subtract. So if I subtract, I see 10 down, I'm pretty happy, because if I do the math at 30 degrees, I do the math at 40 degrees, and I learned this, right? If I'm at 50 degrees, the chance of me needing more timing than expected is very low. I could actually potentially need a hair less. If I pull out a degree or two and I lose 0 horsepower, I'm fucked. I'm way past. I'm way past MBT. I fucked up. I'm gonna keep going down. Doing this over enough time, I learn a safe window, and when I remote tune someone's car, I'll start 2 degrees, 3 degrees less than that, and that's sort of where they'll live at forever, unless I throw on a dyno and I add that back in for them. That's my idea on ignition timing. It's actually the next day. Right now I'm playing with cam timing, right? Normally on a Chevy, you gotta take the whole motor apart. On a JZ, you have cam bolt. On this engine, settings to change. And with MHZ, it is live. As you can see, we are data tracing. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly what does what. Factory is about 112 degrees at redline on the intake cam. This setting right now I have is 120. I don't think this is gonna help with power, but we're gonna see. And then I just hit low boost, this 30 pounds boost, and we're gonna compare to the dyno sheet, right? We're not gonna look at the data log, other than I'm gonna verify the cams are moving correctly. If you're on pump gas, you could have different ignition timing being pulled, but we're on low boost, 30 pounds. With 85, car pulls no timing, so it's not an issue. 736 horsepower. But to stock for, we're gonna go back to stock for all the cam timing tables, right? And see what it does. It's the problem with like excessive heat, like I was dealing with yesterday, which was sort of kind of why I quit, and I'm back at it right now. If your air temp goes up like 15 degrees or something, you might lose power when you actually did something beneficial and made the engine perform better. So these are all stock. It's about 113 degrees at 6,000 RPMs on. quite interesting. 120 degrees up top made the most amount of power. That is extremely common on S54 cars and similar, where you have a great flowing cylinder head and good cams. It's not as common, I would say, on an engine like this. To verify these gains, first we're gonna take this down first, right? We're at 113 degrees up top, right? And we're gonna make it 105, then we're gonna blend this down. And this is gonna have large power losses up top because it's going too far, okay? And we'll just copy this over to the other tables. Upload. And I know I'm changing the values in the low RPM range if anyone knows what's going on, and it can have misleading effects or whatever, but 99. And it made even less power. So we're gonna put it back to 120 degrees at red line, which I did not expect at all. I thought it would be in the stockish range, and you learn some things on some cars. I don't know if the compression of the engine has a slight difference as works. Now, once we have the intake set up, right? Exhaust cam doesn't need as big of a split, right? Like this, in my opinion, this 107 in the exhaust cam is actually not needed. I think this can actually be made probably like 113 free flat, right? And we'll do 114. And we'll actually try now on the exhaust cam doing the same thing. There might be someone out there smarter than me, better than me, that can tell me, no, you need to do both of them combined, etc., to see the gains it has. The same when you shift both cams one direction, the other direction, it changes the power curve. I typically do one at a time. I've tried both independently before, and I've never seen a major gain from it, right? But what we will do is we'll make the exhaust cam, we're gonna be in this range, 113 flat, okay? See what that does. And then we're gonna go to 105, then we go 120. The 120 exhaust cam is how people time it when you do aftermarket high pressure fuel pumps on B58s. It sucks. I could be wrong, but it's gonna suck. The intake cam makes more sense going to 120. That did nothing. I had small gains in this range where it went down a little bit before, and now it's flat. Now we're gonna go do, and mind you, when the car rolls up on boost, right, this load, it goes 0 PSI is about here, and then it rolls through here. So this is really like when you're in boost. This still will have effect on spool up, and before I'm done, will blend all these values, right? So now let's go to 107. Let's do drastic changes just to see. We'll do 3,000. Hit 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, this is not something I do in every car. I have a really good idea of where it works really good on these cars from doing it. Ignition timing is way more important for a dyno because on ignition timing you can go too far and you'd have no idea at all. And the last pull for reference was 738. That actually made a little bit more power. It made 752. Cool, right? Now what we'll do is we'll actually go from this to 102 degrees. And 5 degree step is fucking huge. But I'd rather do this and know, right, what's happening. Also, just for reference, that lost a bunch of power down low, but it made way more up top. So we're gonna, just for reference, go to 99, I guess, which is crazy. For me, I think it's a little crazy. And then I'll show you guys the benefits of variable cam timing because I can actually have it be the 1 degree in the mid-range and a different degree up top. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4 tables, all done. Also, for MHD live tuning, like more information, I asked them if there's any information I could share with you guys to make this easier. They said read the book, the PDF. They said everything's a PDF. So even when I had problems on this, on the MHD stuff, I read the book, right? I read the PDF and it made my life so much easier. My lighting is a freaking car. It's so bad, guys. I'm sorry. The lighting's horrible, but this live tuning and how I do it. That lost quite a bit of power. Okay, that was 20 horsepower loss. It's also hair hider. Not a huge amount of power loss, but it's typically like you'll have a 4 degree cam timing window, I find, on most engines. They're like, you go 2 degrees one way, 2 degrees the other way, you don't really see a major thing, and you just plop in the middle. So if this made 735, the middle made 750, and the middle made 738, I'm assuming I'm very close to the middle. So I'm gonna go backwards on these to 113, to 102, I think. I gotta check the camera because I forgot exactly where I am. Then made power patch 5500, right? And we'll actually blend this down like this. Interpolate X, boom, interpolate Y. I don't really want to do that, but I guess I will. For reference, I think that this should actually be the same thing across the board, but I'm not testing extremely low power level, and he's not only gonna be like 10 pounds boost that much, so it's sort of kind of irrelevant. And then we'll take this 120, and we'll go boom, boom, boom. Right now, I'm gonna let it cool off for a second because my air temp is very hot. I'm gonna do this. So now from 55,000 RPMs on, I'm gonna have 103 degrees, and on the low end, I'm gonna have less, right? On the low RPM, because this is the RPM scale, right? Upload 1, 2, 3, 4. And these tweaks I've just done, right, I don't know if you guys realize, I went from 700 wheel at 30 pounds of boost, pretty much, to 750 wheel. And people think that like tuning a car, you're gonna be aggressive and run more and more ignition timing. And what I've shown you guys is I'm not. The ignition timing currently on this tune and this table is actually the lower ignition timing from me testing. I could add back in that few degrees and gain about 10 wheel, I think it was, 15 wheel. And I could probably go a hair higher and find 20 wheel horsepower more at 30 pounds boost. But in my opinion, that's the wrong way to do it. And that's the aggressive way. Also, like I mentioned, by you doing cam timing tweaks like this, your changes at 20 pounds boost or 30 pounds are the same timing target, in my opinion, at 50. You have really high back pressure, it will tweak things slightly, but this is the way that I do it because I don't want to do 20 pulls at 50 pounds boost for the customer, right? Let me check my air temp real quick. Air temp's actually 108 and we're doing good. So I can keep moving now. So where we left off, we're doing a blend like this, right? And then we can give it a blend upwards just because, I guess, it doesn't really matter in my opinion. And we'll copy over from 120. And this is how I make things look similar and correct, right? With a nice blend on everything. So I'm gonna blend up so that the tables are all smooth. I'm gonna upload every one of these to the ECU. And it's crazy how much space there is. You could probably fully tune a car live and then save it and flash it and give the customer files after. I do flash randomly in between when I do this because I'll like shut the car off, take a break, disconnect, and I want to reconnect with everything matching every time. So if I take large breaks in between, I do end up reflashing the car in between, which is whatever. Okay, so now in theory, this should make 750 wheel horsepower and fix the torque down low because if the last run you look at, the torque was shitty. I don't know if you guys are gonna see every single dyno sheet, but I hope you do because pretty cool, pretty good stuff. I also want to do a video on exhaust stuff, like how Y pipes and X pipes suck and how it all performs based on tons of testing I've done over the past many years of my life. And as expected, I have the torque down low, right? I have 752 wheel horsepower up top, which is identical to 3 pulls ago. This is before and after the dyno sheet, like all my cam testing today. And I mean, fuck, if you look at this, and it's 30 horsepower peak and 40 horsepower red line. I think that's fucking amazing. How about you? Now that this is all good, right? Well, we're done with cam timing. Playing with that, right? There's more you can do with cam timing. Also, you can build into this area. Like if you guys saw my floor, it goes like 100 and then ramps up when boost hits. You can build this into an anti-lag type of thing. It works great for launching off the line to create a lot of energy or exhaust gas flow. I don't like it though, because I feel like when you data log over time, it actually makes the pull longer. So your 43000 goes, wah, and then it gets into boost and leaves. So for a drag racing thing, fine. For a normal street car, not fine. So I do not build any crazy anti-lag or spooling off cam timing into my tunes. I don't like it. This car makes 690 wheel torque at 4,000 RPMs at 30 pounds boost, so I think that's fine. This is also not using any of the OEM logic for the boost control. It's using 100% of MHD's features for logic, and it does have boost by gear, and I will show you guys in a minute. So this right now makes 700 wheel torque, which is fine. If this was, for example, like a stock engine, and you wanted like 40 pounds of boost up top, and then at peak torque is at 4,500 RPMs, you wanted to blend down, I would do something like this, right? Which is 30 pounds, ramping to 40 pounds up top, which is a built engine. So we're gonna get rid of this. This is a reference to show you guys how I do stock engine stuff. And for reference, it made a hair more in the mid-range than I would typically like for a stock engine car, but that is down around 105. It made 866 wheel horsepower and 745 wheel torque. It made a little bit too much torque at about 5,000 RPMs or less. So this 5,000 RPMs I would actually take back down to 30. And this seemed like a weird step from 5,000 to 5,500. It will actually be probably pretty smooth on the thing. And then here, where we're at 40 pounds boost at 6,500 RPMs on. Not gonna lie, my dyno monitor is definitely broken. So it sort of sucks to see from here. 6,500, okay, it's okay. At 7,000, it could take more if you'll make like 900, 950 wheel on stock engine, which is pretty fine nowadays. But that's just for reference, right? This is a built engine, so we're not gonna spend a ton of time doing this. I guess I'll do one more just to show you guys, like 45 PSI. I don't think it'll get up to 45 PSI in this time frame. I think it's a little bit too slow of a ramp. So I think at 5,500, probably find that. At 6,000, I think this is an okay test. It's crazy to do this live. This would take me so many hours normally in my life. And that made 896 wheel horsepower, 713 torque. I fixed a torque dip. And then what you'd want to do again is, obviously as mentioned previously, is you'd always go back into the load, check your data log, make this table maybe 5% higher. That way you have a window of safety for throttle closures and stuff, so it doesn't overboost and doesn't throttle close. It for sure on this last data log, the throttle did close a tiny bit, to be honest with you. It's okay, I'm not that worried. I'd pull out a little bit base wasted dual cycle, but this car will never do this, so I'm not that worried, because when maintaining stable, it's not a problem. So it closed a little bit, but what am I gonna do? Close like 15% at one point. And it also only went to 35 pounds up top. Sometimes if it can't hit boost target, what I'll actually do is I'll run a fatter boost curve. Like this, I'll make 33 or 34, right? Because to get from 30 to 45 pounds in 1500 RPMs is sort of impossible. This is only hitting 37 up top, 38. I'll actually make this 35. Right? I'll leave this ramp the same. And then I'd go to the ignition timing tables. I'm teaching you guys all the good stuff. And I'd go to the area in which I don't want to blow it up, and I'd pull out like 7 degrees or something insane, right? Boom. I make the area and boost -7 degrees. I'd blend up, I'd blend that way, I'd blend this way. It builds more heat by doing that. So boost control is always my first method, always. And then also this, like you can't hit this here. So like even if you built this like, okay, 3000 RPMs, the most boost I'm making is nothing. I got 10 pounds by 3500, right? So I'd make this like 50 or 20, right? And I make this like 10. Because it's irrelevant. I don't think it really matters. It can't hit that much there. I don't think on anti-lag or anything. I just want this a hair higher. Now what I do is I make this boost target, right? We're gonna make it up to 40 pounds just to show you guys how this car works. And there's a chance that moving the cam timing has a small effect on boost. If it does and it overboosts and close throttle again, I will tweak the wasting dual cycle base table that I built. All right. And flat boost, 40-pound target. It made 894, but it made, instead of making 700 wheel torque, it made 800 wheel torque, right? And that's run 100. And then we'll go to 50 pounds because I'm not no bitch. All right, what's air temp? Air temp's 106. It's fine. Should make 950 or something like that. And it made 939, which is fine. We'll check the data log. Boost 48, 49 PSI. It's a hair low at one point, which I can probably fix. And we're also gonna let it cool and run it back again. First at 50, then maybe we'll let it cool and run it again a hair higher. Because the air temp right now, the starting air temp in this room is really hot, and the air temp gets really hot, so it might make more than 950 all said and done. Also check on my Vanos. That's a problem too. I did increase the oil pressure on the car, because if you look, if it actually run 100 heat, it has this dip here. Well, the cam plan doesn't hit target because of an engine build is just not perfect, right? They didn't have the correct parts to fix that. If this doesn't work, I might lock it back to 120. It's oil pressure driven system. And even though 120 loses horsepower, maybe for his high boost map, I'll have it at 120. Having the cam not walk backward at 120 might make more horsepower than moving off target. But here's the outside pull. First pull, 50-pound boost. Second pull, I tried targeting 55. It only hit 52 to 53, and it actually started to lose power, which I spent a bunch of time to this car previously and never experienced. If you look right here, the red is 53, 52, and that one's 50. It lost a bunch up top. Data log looks amazing. Everything looks great. I think the turbo is out of steam. Could someone make 1,000 with them? This is pump 85. It's like E75 or something. Maybe like one ethanol R or a better fuel, which allows you to run more timing safely. I can say they made 1,000, probably also less hot day. It's 89 degrees in that room. Not optimal at all, but that is tuning for dummies. If you want to see more of me, like, subscribe, comment. I do appreciate it. I have no problem doing crazier or more technical videos if people want that. You guys gotta let me know down below. I always appreciate the comments. Like, subscribe if you want some more. And that's all for Tune Your BMW.